Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Moving Lagos forward.
Here on to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Time check 11 o'clock, and it's time to bring you the program AUTOMEDICS.
I remember today my car almost gave up on me. It had been with me for years. Every drive felt like a battle. Rough start, sluggish performance, and very high fuel consumption. But not until a friend told me about AUTOMEDICS engine oil. At first, I felt reluctant, but then I figured, why not? Let me give it a try. And since I started using AUTOMEDICS engine oil, my engine performance has improved drastically. My fuel consumption has reduced to the barest minimum, and I clearly recall the day I encountered an issue with my oil sump. I lost all my engine oil, but guess what? I drove home safely with little or no oil in my engine. All thanks to AUTOMEDICS engine oil. Switching to AUTOMEDICS oil with Polytron was the best decision I ever made for my engine. AUTOMEDICS engine oil not only protects your engine, it elongates engine lifespan and service interval. Give it a trial and feel the power of true protection. Visit any AUTOMEDICS service center today or call 0803-829-2296 or www.automedicsafrica.com.
When you hear this tune, you know it's time for AUTOMEDICS on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. A beautiful morning to you all, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to the Thursday edition of AUTOMEDICS on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. My name is Rereloluwa Abiodun, RSA. Saying good morning to you and, happy Easter, by the way. Yes. All right, I'm not alone in the studio, of course. I have with me automobile expert, yes, in the building, in the studio, in the person of Karimot. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning, Lagos. How are you?
I'm fine. Doing very well.
All right. How was your how was it like coming down here?
Well, it was smooth except for the traffic light that stops like every 50 seconds.
It's for the good of everybody, so everybody can, there will not be chaos.
Yes.
But that was where exactly was that?
Around the Keja under bridge.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because we stayed on the line for a very long while.
Wow.
And by the time we're moving, just like small or two movements, then traffic light stops again.
And then it could be influx too, playing out there too as well. All right, but it was a cool and a very good movement.
Yes, it was.
All right. And yes, it's still good, within the metropolis. Ikeja environs, Ikorodu Road, Ikorodu proper, major parts of the metropolis still looks calm, cool, and collected. However, we implore you, okay, as a commuter, a motorist, to please take it easy, drive carefully, and stay safe. All right, this is AUTOMEDICS, where you get to ask any question of your choice pertaining to your car. We are so concerned about you and your car because it is valuable. Your car is valuable, so valuable, and so we want the very best for your car and for you as well. Okay, so please do also, ask your questions. This is the time where you get to ask any question of your choice, like I said. So please feel free to contact us. Call us on 0915-387-7127. 0915-387-7127. That's the number to call. You can also send in a WhatsApp message to 0809-9120-777. 0809-9120-777. All right, and of course, Karimot is here to answer any question of any heartburning question, right, that you have pertaining to your car. And certainly, I'm sure she would give you the right answers that you need. All right then. But before we delve into our topic for discussion, let's quickly have our address.
Okay, AUTOMEDICS is located at plot 192 Agegemuto Road off Ilukweju Bypass beside Crystal Estate, Ilukweju, Lagos. We have number 1 Amule bus stop opposite Petrocam Gas, Ayobo. We're also at Corn Oil Filling Station opposite Correctional Center, Kudirat Abiola Way, Ikeja. Phone numbers to call are 080 8080 6686, 080 8080 6686. We also have the 080 3829 2296, 080 3829 2296. Our social media handles are Facebook and Instagram at AUTOMEDICS Limited. For any inquiry on CNG, you can call the number 080 39292296, 080 3829 2296.
All right, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, and a quick update. Even though I've spoken about the fact that we have a good movement, however, it's still pertinent to bring you up to speed with what's happening within major areas like the one at Body Thermos, inwards Babs, and Imashon. Currently, or earlier, there was a broken down truck there, right? A broken down truck at Body Thermos, inwards Babs, and Imashon, which was being worked on as we speak. This truck had been evacuated already successfully. Yes, it's off the road now. And as we speak, Body Thermos inwards Babs Animation is totally free, like a bird, okay? However, please, we still need you to, take it easy and, of course, keep it within the speed limit. For those flying Ojoyanoba corridor, earlier there was an impediment of a broken down cheaper truck having a mechanical fault and was occupying about 75% of the road, 75%. This was at Trade Fair inwards Mount 2. I can tell you for a fact that this impediment has also been evacuated as well successfully, and traffic is much better as we speak. So let's quickly delve into our topic for discussion. Today we will be looking at vehicle diagnosis, right? It's going to be more of what individuals need to know, right? Okay, so my first question would be, what is vehicle diagnosis?
Okay, so vehicle diagnosis has to do with, what it means is your technician helping you to identify the problem on your vehicle and helping you make sure that your vehicle is in a good condition. So it's like taking your vehicle for a medical checkup to know if there's something wrong with your vehicle, or probably there's something wrong, you want to know what exactly is wrong with your vehicle. So that's vehicle diagnosis. And vehicle diagnosis can be in different forms. We have two different types of vehicle diagnosis. We have the onboard and we have the offboard. So for the onboard, I would like to refer to it as computerized inspection.
That's onboard.
Yes, that's for the onboard. And for the offboard, I'll classify as a visual inspection. That is what you see with your eyes, what you can feel, what you can hear, the sounds you hear from your vehicle, what you can see from it with your eyes, and what you can smell, maybe a burn smell, and what you can feel with your hands. That's for the visual. So the onboard diagnosis, which is the computerized inspection, is like you're having your vehicle talk to you, and the only way your vehicle would talk to you or communicate is through the scan tools. So the only way the vehicle can tell you, okay, there's something wrong in this component, is making use of a scan tool. So scan tool is a way of diagnosing the vehicle, helping you diagnose what exactly is wrong with the vehicle. So it will pinpoint to the system that is having the problem. While the off-board diagnosis is you seeing what exactly is wrong with the vehicle. That is, you can see it, you can hear it, you can touch it to see that, okay, this component part is wrong. Okay, this particular system is wrong with the vehicle. Is what is making the vehicle encounter one or two problems. Yes.
Okay, now for the computerized one, that's for the onboard, right?
Yes.
For the tools you will be needing, do you necessarily have to acquire them, like purchase them yourself personally, or will it be your mechanic doing that for you?
Individual can purchase a scan tools, and the mechanic has their own scan tool, because in a way the scan tool helps with it. It helps to solve the problem of guesswork.
Okay.
So you can decide to have, because there are different types, you can decide to have yours. So instead of, maybe you don't have the time to go to your technician, if you have yours, you can always plug into your vehicle, and then you see it will bring out a false code for you depending on the type you have. Some scanners would interpret it, like write it in front of it, interpret the code. So you just need to tell your technician, okay, this is the code I'm getting, or you bring it to us, this is code I'm getting from my vehicle. What exactly is it saying? So would interpret it for you. And as mechanics, as technicians, we also need to have the scan tools, because it helps us solve the issue of guesswork and having to like think back and forth what exactly is the problem.
And the scan tools, are they in terms of cost? Is it cost effective? No, I'm just, you know.
Okay,
listeners that would love to know.
It is. There are different types. So, and there are different brands of scan tools. So yeah, it is actually cost effective.
So which is more effective between the onboard and the offboard?
I would say both of them are effective.
More effective.
Because you need one to solve the other.
Okay.
Because, for example, now you are having, you scan your vehicle, it's bringing you maybe an issue that has to do with the misfire. And then the customer tells you that, and misfire is always traced to so many things. For example, now it's bringing cylinder 2 misfire. That means that cylinder is misfiring. So it could be as a result of the plug, the coil. It can be as a result of those two or any other thing. And then the customer tells you, I've changed my spark plug already. In fact, I just changed it a week ago, and maybe that same week is still complaining of that misfire. So now you need your physical check to see if the plug itself is working properly. You need your physical check to check the state of the coil. So that's why I said the two are effective. They work hand in hand. You use one to solve the other, and use the other to solve. So they work hand in hand.
Okay, so you've explained what the meaning of vehicle diagnosis, and of course you've given us the types.
Yes.
So why is it important for every car owner to actually, do more of vehicle diagnosis?
But I'll say it's very important because it helps you on the long run maintain your vehicle. Because the only way you can maintain your vehicle is when you can maintain, as an individual, the only way we can have a good health is when we go for regular checkups. So it's the same thing as your vehicle. So when you go for a regular diagnosis, you help maintain your vehicle, your longevity of the engine and every other components parts. It also helps with fuel economy, because if there are no problems on your vehicle, then fuel will be economized in your vehicle. We also, issues like that, you not have to be spending more on your vehicle than usual. So even the money, maybe spending less on repairs than spending more on repairs every now and then. So it's just for the better use of your vehicle, so you can enjoy your vehicle for as long as you want, till you want to change your vehicle maybe to another one, and also your vehicle's lifespan would increase.
All right, and what are the common signs of a vehicle diagnosis?
One of the signs that you should take your vehicle for a diagnosis is, the first one, which is for the onboard. The onboard, you see instruments, you see lights on the instruments cluster. That's warning signs that pops up on the instruments cluster. So when you see warning signs, that's how you know, my vehicle, I need to take my vehicle for a diagnosis. Another one is when you notice that your vehicle is not running up to optimum. It's not running as it should. Maybe it's experiencing misfire or jerking. You know your vehicle needs to go for a diagnosis. For example, maybe you're moving, you're hearing sounds on your suspension system, or maybe you're hearing an odd noise from the usual noise of your vehicle. You need to take your vehicle for a diagnosis. For example, maybe you're in traffic and you maybe experience one or two. Just when you experience something out of the ordinary of your vehicle, when you experience something like that, you know that yes, okay, my vehicle needs to go for a diagnosis. So you, and the earlier you go, the better for you. Yes.
All right, Lagos Traffic Radio at 6.1 FM, still station. Remember to ask your questions, your car questions. It could be pertaining to our topic of discussion, which is vehicle diagnosis, what individuals need to know. Or it could be a question about your car. Maybe, you're having challenges driving it. Could be the tire, could be the suspension, whatever it is. Okay, ask your questions. And of course, do not forget too that you can also send in a WhatsApp message, okay, relaying your questions via WhatsApp platform, okay. The number again are 0809-912-0777 to send in a WhatsApp message to our WhatsApp platform pertaining to your question. Please use the number 0809-912-0777, 0809-912-0777. You can also put a call through to 0915-387-7127, 0915-387-7127. All right. So Karimot, I'd like to ask another funny question.
Okay.
No, I won't call it tricky. I'll just say funny.
Okay.
So can your vehicle be misdiagnosed?
Well, your vehicle can be misdiagnosed if the right information is not being communicated to the technician. Because every technicians, every diagnosticians, they work based on their complaint and they work based on what you give to them, except you specify that, okay, you want to carry out a comprehensive diagnosis. So that comprehensive has to do with checking every system. So yes, your vehicle can be misdiagnosed if the wrong information is being communicated to your technician, or if you as the customer you're not giving the full details of what happened to your vehicle to your mechanic or to your technician. Yes, it will be misdiagnosed. But as technicians, we should make sure that every now and then we should not misdiagnose a vehicle.
All right. And then what's the difference between a warning light and a diagnosis alert?
A warning light is to warn the car owner, the vehicle owner, that okay, there's something wrong with the system. While a diagnosis light is it's also the same thing as a warning light, but what it's trying to tell you is that this system needs to be checked with immediate effect. So it needs to be checked with immediate effect. I think some high-end vehicles tend to have that displayed on their instrument cluster. Take your vehicle to the nearest technician, to the nearest workshop. It means that it needs to be checked with immediate effect.
So for a warning light, you can still delete that?
No. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
For a warning light is to alert the vehicle owner. But when you see a diagnostics light, diagnostics lights are also warning lights, but they tend to flash. When you see a particular system flashing, know that system is at the verge of breaking down. For example, if you are seeing a flash check engine light, it's a diagnosis light. That's when you start seeing issues with take your vehicle to the nearest workshop. So that system is trying to tell you that there's something wrong with that system. So you need to take it to your technician as soon as possible. So they should not be ignored or delayed regardless.
All right. 0809-912-0777, 0915-387-7127. Control room, please put your call through again so we can have your report. Thanks. All right, we have control online. Let's quickly get this update. Okay. Hello, control.
Yes, thank you so much. Is that Abiodun and Karimot?
Nope, Rereloluwa.
Oh, Rere?
Yes, please, Ola.
Right, just to keep you posted this time, at the station within the stretch of Apapa Worunsuki Expressway, that is those coming from my two end to join Oshodi. Immediately after Oshodi, moving ahead towards Antonio is busy right now. We understand that there's a broken down articulated vehicle, truck rather, which has been secured by men of Nigerian Army. So,
where is this broken down?
Location, it's a tire problem.
Okay.
So it has to be fixed within that location. As soon as we move it out of the road, I'll definitely let you know about that.
Okay, let me get you properly. Where exactly do we have this broken down truck?
By Town Planning Way Junction, Air Route Antonio K.
Okay.
That is on the stretch of Apapa Wosoki Expressway coming in from Oshodi OK.
Okay.
Yes. Getting to Lasma office, it begins to be a busy moving one all through to Town Planning Junction, inward Antonio K.
Okay.
That is just where we have slight delays within the stretch of the road. That is the entire stretch of Apapa Wosoki Expressway.
All right.
Ikorodu Road is very, very appreciable to use right now. Although the recovery exercise at Asolo inward Odogo is on right now. The recovery exercise is on. But we have free vehicular movement all through across the board towards my 12. My 12 chauffeur is good. Likewise, movement beyond my 12 all the way to join Eco Bridge and route Akpogbo.
Okay.
Now, on the return journey, there's a case of an accident involving 4 vehicles right there around CMS Bridge and route Africa now. Situation is being well managed and recovery exercise is on. As soon as they get the results, I will definitely send the sit down to you. While beyond that spot, joining the Eco Bridge proper, all the way down to Anthony or Jota, respectively, the stretch of Ikorodu Road is free to use right now. Likewise, Third Mainland Bridge, in summary, is good to use both in and out, back to back.
All right.
We can only appeal to road users at 80 kilometers per hour is required on the stretch of Third Mainland Bridge.
All right,
That's
then.
just to quickly take you around on how it goes within the metropolis.
Thank you so much, Olayiwola. Well done. Thank you. All right, a big thanks goes to Olayiwola, the control room. Thank you so much. God bless you. All right, we have an update for those flying the Apapa Wuroshiki corridor. Currently, for those coming from Mount 2 into Oshodi, there is a broken down truck, okay? First and foremost, if you're within Apapa Wuroshiki environs, coming from Mount 2 into Oshodi, down to Anthony, we have it very, very busy at the moment. There is a broken down truck having a tire problem at Town Planning Way inwards Anthony. It's currently causing a very busy movement. However, security personnel is on ground within that impediment scene, which is at Town Planning Way inwards Anthony. All right. Also, Lasma office is busy into Town Planning Junction en route Anthony. All right. So please pay attention to this. Ikorodu Road is brilliantly free at the moment. Absolutely good, I must say. However, the recovery of the impediment at Asolo inwards Odogun is ongoing. All right. But it has no effect on traffic, by the way. Mount 12 from Asolo down to Koshofe to connect into Eco Bridge is good. Eco Bridge into Akpogbo, very good, of course. And the return journey is brilliant for now. Also, on the return journey, there is, we have a report of an accident occurrence involving 4 vehicles at CMS Bridge in North Ofin Canal. Recovery of these vehicles is ongoing as well. Of course, we advise motorists to please drive carefully and be patient. Eco Bridge proper into Anthony en route Ojota on the return journey is good. And of course, connecting back into Mount 12 as well as into Benson en route Ikorodu roundabout as well as into the inner parts of Ikorodu town is absolutely free this morning. And of course, the Third Mainland Bridge is brilliantly free as well, with no impediment. So please drive safely and do not forget to use the emergency numbers in case of any, which are 767 or 112 and 122. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. We're still on the topic of discussion, which is vehicle diagnosis. What individuals need to know. And I still have Karimot here with me. All right. We're talking about a particular discussion, right? If your vehicle can be misdiagnosed, right? you want to shed more light on that?
Okay, yes, I would like to share more light on that because my answer was miscommunication, and what I mean by miscommunication is, okay, so let me just create a scenario. For example, now you want to carry out a diagnosis. You take your vehicle to your technician, and they are telling the technician that, okay, I'm hearing a noise on the legs of my vehicle. You're not being specific with that information. Or some will say, okay, my vehicle is overheating, my vehicle overheats. That information is not complete because you
need to know the cause.
Exactly. What exactly led to the overeating? What exactly did you notice that made you, were you on a high speed? Were you on a low speed? Were you in traffic? What exactly was it that happened that make that problem occur, that you notice it and feel like, okay, there's something wrong with my car? Because oftentimes most customers find it very difficult, or I don't know if it's difficult for them, or they just feel like, okay, we're magicians, we should be able to know what exactly is wrong with their vehicle. So they just tell you, okay, this is what is wrong with my car. So they expect us to, like, okay, decipher it. So as customers, or as individuals, I would like us to know that every information is important to your technician, because aside having to help your technician solve the problem or notify the problem for you, it also makes the work easier and faster, that when you go for a diagnosis, there will not be delay. Because there are some people that might have even done maybe some basic repairs. Technicians would be able to detect, okay, when some repairs has been done on the vehicle. But then you find out that when the customer communicated to the technician about the problem, the customer didn't note that, okay, some basic repairs has been done. So now I'm hearing this particular noise, or I'm experiencing this problem again. So then the technician goes and maybe quotes for that same system that the person changed, because obviously it could be the reason, maybe the system they bought is bad, or the components they bought is bad. And then you start hearing complaints of, I just changed it, why are you telling me to change it again? Things like that. So if you communicate clearly to your technician, it helps you, it saves you time, it also helps you and your technician will be able to, like, defer the solution immediately, or the problem, or the reason for the problem immediately. So you don't have to wait longer, and you don't even have to, like, spend more. The technician will be able to give you the best advice possible he can. Because once you explain that, okay, this is what I've been experiencing for a long while, this is what I've been going through with my vehicle for a long, it would help you defer the best solution for your vehicle. So that's what I mean by miscommunication. So as individuals, let's learn or try to communicate correctly, effectively to our technicians.
All right, and be more specific.
Yes, be specific.
All right, thank you so much, Karimot. All right, 0809-912-0077, 0915-387-7127 are the numbers, our studio lines to ask your car questions. All right, let me quickly ask this one. Okay, this one is about the difference between a petrol and a diesel engine. So how does vehicle diagnosis differ between a petrol and a diesel engine? Is it the same or is it different?
It's the same diagnosis you carry out that you on a petrol engine is the same that you carry out on a diesel engine. It's the same checks because they use the same systems. The only difference is their source of fuels. One is using diesel, one is using petrol. So that's just the same thing. And like I said, the diagnosis is based on what the customer complains about or based on whatever it is they're experiencing that you help solve the problem.
So what are the common signs that a vehicle, like apart from what can trigger one to go for a vehicle diagnosis, for instance?
Well, anything can trigger one. Some people are so specific about their car that they don't even want their car to have any faults, so they go every now. I think I like those kind of people.
In fact, coming to that question, how many times so are we supposed to be diagnosing our car?
How many times? It depends on depends on individual. Depends on individual. Some like to carry out their diagnosis when they want to carry out their oil change. Some maybe wait until they experience one or two problems, or maybe when they notice something unusual from their vehicle. that's when you like to go for diagnosis. So it depends on you. But my best advice is maybe when you want to go for your oil change, always make sure you carry out a diagnosis alongside. So it will save you cost at the later end.
So are you saying now that, for instance, when I have my own car, I can be taking it 2 weeks, one week?
No, now. For example, no, I said when you want to do your oil change. For example, now maybe your next oil change is in the next 3 months. You can go for that. Or and when you notice, if before the 3 months or before you complete your kilometers, you notice something on your vehicle, take your vehicle to a diagnostician, let them diagnose it for you.
All right. Lagos Traffic Radio at 6.1 FM. I have a question here for you. It says, good morning, Mars. Have been using water as my coolant for 2 years now in my Honda Pilot 2008. I want to change it to my normal blue color coolant. Can I just buy it and add it to my radiator directly, or I need a specialist for it? Thanks, Mrs. Adun.
Okay, the best way is just take it to your technician. What they will do for you is to drain the system of water that's, this water that is in it already. So what they want to do is a radiator flush. So they remove every water, every fluid that is inside the radiator for you, and then they put in the new coolant. So there's nothing wrong if you want to. So just take it to your technician so they help you flush the system. And there are sometimes that the radiator might be dirty. So if there's a need for them to wash it, they'll wash it for you, and then you just put in your fluid, your coolant. So there's no issue. No issue, yes.
All right. And I'd like to ask, what are the pros and the cons? That's the disadvantages and advantages of DIY vehicle diagnosis versus professional diagnosis.
Okay, so for the pros, which is the advantage, is for some people that are so intrigued about cars and probably they want to, there are some people that they like to get their hands dirty. They want to be able to solve their issues themselves. That kind of a hair. So it helps them more knowledgeable about their car. Lets them know more about their car, and it also opens it helps them more knowledgeable about the system, how it works. Because I'm sure they are not just doing it themselves. They are referring to maybe somebody who is in the field about, okay, how do I go about this? Okay, what should I do? Because I don't want to believe they are doing it themselves. They are also having information from an insider technician or a friend technician. So it helps them to be more knowledgeable about their cars. So for example, before they are mini technicians, let me give them that title, because they are upcoming technicians, in a way that before they encounter a bigger problem on their vehicle, they are able to decipher it, they are able to solve it themselves, or okay, this is what I need to do on their own. So but the only difference is that there are some systems that they might not be able to solve themselves, and there are some DIY that would want to go ahead and solve it. So, and then they begin to cause damage on their own vehicle themselves. So that's just the advantage, because there are some curious DIY that they want to go all in, they want to do the repair themselves, but in the process of doing the repair, they will not be able to know the technical process of how to go about it. They don't know the technical process, the technical procedure that needs to be done, or things that needs to be put in place for you to go about this particular repair. So that will just be the disadvantage behind it, and then they have problems with their car, and the repair they do might not be up to optimum, and then their car begins to develop more faults. But for a professional, you do it to standard, like the word professionalism. You do it to standard, because anybody that sees that, okay, this vehicle has been diagnosed properly, would know that yes, okay, this diagnosis has been done properly. Yes.
All right. And okay, all right. Also, I would also like to ask, for those using, if, for instance, I have issues with my vehicle, right? And, okay, maybe I don't want to take it to a technician.
Okay.
I want to do it myself.
Okay.
I don't know anything about car.
That's why you're here.
So, no, I don't know anything about, I'm just giving a scenario, right? What exactly do you think, for instance, maybe, what exactly do you think would be the first thing an individual should check in terms of, okay, maybe you're hearing some certain sounds, you don't have a technician at the moment, right, to check that for you? What exactly do you think one can do?
Okay, it depends on the problem actually, but for your scenario, for example, you're hearing sounds on your suspension, like on your legs of your vehicle. Is that okay?
Yes, suspension.
You're hearing sounds on your suspension. Okay, so the only thing I would advise is maybe take it to a technician, find a technician, because they'll be the ones to help you solve that noise. Because sometimes noise on your suspension system could also mean that a bolt or a component is loosening and is not being held in place. And you driving it is at a risk. So I would say still find a technician, because except you want to, if you want to, you can decide to, okay, the only DIY I would advise is maybe if you can make use of your car jack, and if you have an axle stand, you can stand your vehicle and just, see. You can just decide to touch one of the components one by one. If you have like a bar in your vehicle, check to see there's clearance on the components. Just turn it left. There are some components you need to turn left and right. There are some that you need to like push, and there are some that you just need to like put a bar in between them. That's the one that comes at a joint. Put a bar in between, sweep it left and right gently to see if there's clearance or space in between those components. And just check out for maybe worn-out bushings, or maybe some components that are being loose and are not held properly. Yes, but my best advice is because you don't know anything. So what do you want to check out for?
All right. So what are the signs, the early signs of engine trouble?
The early signs of engine trouble is, okay, that's your check engine lights coming on, and for those that maybe their check engine light has been cleared off or is not coming on when they have problems, I would say one of it is when you notice that your vehicle is not moving properly from the start. Okay. You know, when you start your vehicle in the morning, there's this loud noise. Then later the noise it comes down a bit. If you notice that, okay, after even starting and then after like 20-30 minutes it's still giving this awful noise, okay, there's something going on in your engine. And if you experience, maybe for example you're experiencing like that's unusual noise, for example maybe when you're driving, you notice that maybe your engine is going up, like the sound is going up, like vroom, vroom, like it's giving that rough idling of a thing. Yes, that's an early sign. So once you notice that the sound of your engine is different from the normal sound when you use your vehicle, when your vehicle is in a good condition, yes, that's a sign.
That's a sign. Okay. All right, then Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Again, a quick update for those flying Apapa Wurusoki corridor. On Apapa Wurusoki environs coming from Mile 2 into Oshodi Uke en route Anthony Uke. We have it busy at the moment due to a broken down truck having a tire problem. This broken down truck is currently at Town Planning Way in towards Anthony Uke, and it's currently causing a very, very busy movement. However, we learned that security personnel are on ground. They are within that impediment scene doing the needful. Also, Last Mile office is busy. Last Mile office is busy down to Town Planning Junction, and of course connecting into Anthony Uke from Town Planning Junction is also very busy. So please pay attention to this and plan your movement. Meanwhile, Ikorodu Road, Ikorodu Papa, as well as the inner parts of Ikorodu town are in good shape. By the way, recovery of the broken down truck we have at Asolo Inwat Odogun is still ongoing. Recovery of the impediment at Asolo Inwat Odogun is still ongoing. Right, so please pay attention to this. If you're also coming from Asolo into Mount 12, you will experience a very good movement. Kushofe, Iko Bridge into Akpogbo, as well as CMS environs. Absolutely good. State House, McQueen Bridge, Bunny Camp Roundabout, Ahmedabele Way. Absolutely free this evening. Sanusi Fafunwa corridor is also good with no impediment, no obstructions. Now, on the return journey, there is a report of an accident occurrence involving 4 vehicles at CMS Bridge inwards of Fin Canal. Recovery of those vehicles is in progress. Again, there is a report of an accident occurrence involving 4 vehicles at CMS Bridge inwards of Fin Canal, and recovery of those vehicles is in progress. Take note. By the way, Eco Bridge proper into Anthony en route Ojota is absolutely free. And of course, Ojota back to Ikorodu roundabout is also good. Same applies with the inner parts of Ikorodu town. Third Millen Bridge is looking good, I must say, very, very free at this time with no impediment. In and out. And of course, Ikoyoba Linde corridor is a jolly ride with no impediment. Remember to use the emergency numbers, which are 767 or 112, 767 or 112 and 122 within the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. All right, we're still talking about a very, very sensitive topic, which is vehicle diagnosis. And we're looking at what individuals need to know. Very important. All right, so Karimot, I'd like to ask, how does the environmental factor affect vehicle diagnosis? Does it affect?
Environmental factor doesn't really affect your vehicle diagnosis because your vehicle just needs to be taken to I think environmental factor can affect, maybe it depends on the location where you want to carry out your diagnosis.
Okay.
For example, maybe the place where you want to carry out your diagnosis is a flooded area, and they're telling you to leave your vehicle till the next day. So the only environmental factor is that by the time you come the next day, the environment might be flooded, so it will affect your vehicle in such a way, maybe affects the diagnosis. So it's just depending on the location you want to carry out your diagnosis. That's maybe the workshop, for example. So that's the only thing that would affect your diagnosis. And there are sometimes that from some diagnosis, when you want to carry, maybe, for example, you want to hear some noises on the suspension system. During raining season, it's always very difficult to hear some noises on the suspension system. And there are times that, so for example, you want to know if your vehicle is overheating, or maybe your vehicle is experiencing one or two misfire that has to do with overheat. During raining season, it might be very difficult because now you have a cold temperature, and there are times that it would even show, but it would not be as persistent. So I think the diagnosing is based on the technician aspect. For some technicians, it might be very difficult because test driving, they will have to carry out test driving. So there are some locations that will be limited to them to carry out a test drive. So that's based on environmental factor. So like maybe the raining seasons, flooded areas, they will not be able to go for that long drive because some areas will be flooded. Yes.
Okay. Are there misconceptions about vehicle diagnosis?
Yes, they are. The misconception I would say is every vehicle owners feel that because this customer came in to carry out a diagnosis, or I came before the customer and the customer left. The misconception is that diagnosis should not take longer. Like maybe between less than 20 minutes, I should be done my vehicle diagnosis. It's not done that way
at all.
Vehicle diagnosis is carried out based on the issue and based on the fault that is being found on the vehicle. So, for example, there are different types of car problems. Your problem is different from the other person's problem. So, as technicians, we need to make sure that, we go deep into this problem. We need to make sure that we find out what exactly is wrong with this vehicle. So, it takes longer. So, there are some diagnoses that takes longer. There are some diagnoses that take days. There are some that probably a week. Because there are sometimes they will tow in a vehicle and what happens there, the vehicle we're going and then the vehicle shut down on the road. So those kind of problems. Vehicle now will take longer, maybe a week or 2 weeks. And there are some diagnoses that in less than 20 minutes you are done. So not all diagnosis has to be done in less than 20 minutes. So every diagnosis is done based on the problem. So depending on the problem of the vehicle, depends on the longevity of the diagnosis.
Patience is the watchword.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. All right, and can a regular diagnostic check increase the lifespan of a car?
Yes, it would. A regular diagnosis check increases the lifespan of a car because the more you carry out diagnosis on your vehicle, you're also preventing future problems. And you are solving the problems and you are solving the fault. You are solving the problem of the vehicle. Yes, it would increase the lifespan. But if you are just going for the diagnosis and you are not solving the problem, it would not increase the lifespan. Because diagnosis is help you check what exactly is wrong with your vehicle, and then the technicians note, okay, this is what is wrong with your vehicle, this is what needs to be changed, this is the repairs that needs to be carried out. So if you are solving it, you are taking note of those repairs, you are doing that repair, yes, it will help with the longevity. But if you do not carry out the repair, you are just going for diagnosis to know what is wrong, and you are not carrying out the repair, it would not help with the longevity of your vehicle. Yes.
Okay, and can it also help in terms of better fuel efficiency?
Well, it depends. It depends. The same thing as what I said earlier. If you are solving the problem, it would help with better fuel economy and fuel. But if you are not, it will definitely cause more problems. So, the more the problem stays, the more the problem increases. Yes.
All right, 0809-912-0777, 0809-912-0777. That's our WhatsApp number that you can send in your questions to. All right, I have this question here. This one says, I'm Femi from Ikeja. And he sent in a message regarding his rebuilt RX 300 Lexus transmission not engaging in reverse, and also makes a loud rev jerk when shifting from gear 2 to 3. We tested it with 3 valve bodies, but the issue still persists. Did tested all solenoids, they all clicked fine. As he also said it has a code.
Okay.
P0753 P0753 and P0758. P0758. He says both pointed to solenoids, electrical malfunction. He said he checked all wire harness also. No, okay. Well, he says the mechanic is insisting he gets an ECU since that's the only one he hasn't changed. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Again, please let's not forget the report of an accident occurrence involving 4 vehicles at CMS Bridge inwards of Fin Canal. Recovery of these vehicles, involved in an accident is in progress, and of course traffic managers are right there on ground. Also, for those plying at Papa Uroshoki environs coming from Out 2 into Oshodi en route Anthony Oki, we have it busy due to a broken down truck having a tire problem at town planning inwards Anthony Oki, and it's currently busy within this area. Security personnel are on ground, traffic managers are also on ground doing the needful. LASMA office is also busy into town planning junction en route Anthony Oki. All right, so please take note of this. And let's not forget the recovery of an impediment at Asolo inwards Udugu is still in progress. So please take it easy and drive carefully. All right.
Okay, first off, you said the transmission was a rebuilt transmission and that the...
it was a rebuilt Lexus transmission, and it's not engaging in reverse.
It's not engaging in reverse. Okay, first off, when you scan it, you brought out the false code P0735, shift solenoid, A electrical, and the other one too is also a solenoid. That's B electrical.
Okay.
Okay, so he said his technician told him to change the ECU since that's the only thing.
Yeah,
okay,
changed.
So first off, is a rebuilt transmission. So that means that every gears in it were changed. So because we don't really buy the idea of building transmission because it's always a tax-key thing and costly thing to do. So now I'll say if they can check again the transmission that was rebuilt to make sure that the gears for the reverse is aligned properly, because if it's not aligned properly, it could it could be the reason why the reverse is not working. And another thing is the clicking of the solenoid. How is it clicking? Like, is it a faint click or an active click? That's another thing you should take note of. Is it a faint click or an active? Because once the solenoid is beginning to go bad, the click might not be an active click. It might be a faint click. That is, you find it, you will not be able to hear it. It's not be loud. It just be like faintly. So that's another thing. And because I wouldn't want to say go ahead and change the ECU immediately, but if you can get someone that can maybe lend you an ECU, but I think that would be very difficult. Maybe just to see if it's the ECU, like you get an ECU. I think there's a way they do it. There's a way you can get an ECU from the market just to check and test. So if it works fine with the new ECU, yes. But I wouldn't say you should just go ahead and buy an ECU. My advice is they can recheck the gears inside the transmission. That's the one for the reverse. You should check it out and see if it's properly aligned.
And then speaking about ECU, pertaining to our topic of discussion for diagnosis, how can what role does a vehicle's ECU actually play in terms of diagnosing, like when you want to diagnose your vehicle?
Okay, what the ECU does is to communicate with every other system of the vehicle. So when there's a problem on the vehicle, because we have sensors and we have actuators. Actuators is what helps to activate the system. Sensors is what helps to send signal from the ECU to the systems. So sensors send signals to the ECU. So we have what we call the OBD, which is the onboard diagnosis. So we have a communication and a network communication line. So what that network and communication does is it helps to receive information from the ECU and communicate to other systems of the vehicle. So when there's a problem or a fault, it sends that information to the ECU. So when you plug in your scan tools, that information is being received through the OBD connector.
Okay.
So it's what is being received through the OBD connector. That's through the communication line and the network line. So you receive that information from there, and that's how you know, okay, as I tends to send you codes and information that has or systems that has faults on your vehicle.
Okay, and is there a difference between a scan tool and a code reader?
Yes.
What's the difference?
No, there's no difference. They are all scan tools.
They're all scan tools.
They're all scan tools, but how they function is different.
Okay.
So a code reader, what it just does is it retrieves code. It's also a scan tools. What it does is to retrieve code for you. While there are some scan tools that helps to retrieve code and also retrieve information, like it writes the information in full. You see the code and then, for example,
yes,
you see the information relating to the code. The code reader, what it just do is it gives you the code like P0735. But that's for the code reader. But for the other advanced councils, you see the P0135, and in front of it, it brings you the information of the car problem. For example, shift solenoid A electrical. It brings the information like that, so you know where exactly you are going to. But for the code, you just retrieve the code. You have to start searching for the code, like a decoder, to help you decode what that code is. So they are all scan tools.
All right, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM the station, and if you still want to send in your questions, your car questions, you can still do that. I still have few more minutes, okay, before I take my leave. So yes, send in your car questions to 0809-912-0777, 0809-912-0777, and 0915-387-7127. All right. Okay. Let's quickly get this live report from our motorbike live reporter. Okay. Sadiq, please reconnect with me again so we can get that update. Thank you. Okay. All right, let's get this call. Hello, Sadiq. Yusuf?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Sadiq Yusuf reporting live from Ojota in West Maryland.
All right.
That was earlier today, there was a report of a broken down loaded truck at Ojota, taking almost 50% of the service lane. The impediment is still very much on ground and is causing a slight busy movement for motorists that are navigating through this end. And the traffic is almost getting to Lamasa as I speak. But immediately after the impediment, the road is free down to Maryland. And traffic managers are also well positioned doing a needful so that this impediment can be off the road. So that is the situation on ground.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, and that was our motorbike life reporter, Sadiq Yusuf, bringing us up to speed with the impediment on Ikorodu Road, precisely at Ojota in West Maryland. We have a broken down truck there at Ojota in West Maryland, occupying about 50% of the road. This broken down truck is actually on the service lane at Ojota, thereby, affecting vehicular movement slightly, and of course causing a backlog as well towards Lamata corridor. Once you pull away from Ojota on the service lane, connecting into Maryland proper is very, very much better. And of course, the rest of the journey is a smooth sail into Eco Bridge en route Akpogbon. So finally, Karimot, I'd like to ask, what's the cost of a vehicle diagnosis test now? Is it expensive, and then is it worth it? That would be final.
It's not expensive, but it's affordable.
It's
something
affordable
we can afford. Yes,
and it's worth it, right?
Yes, it's worth it.
So your advice to people: do not regularly do vehicle maintenance. What's your advice? What will your advice be for those who do not do regular, who do not, take their vehicles for diagnosis regularly?
Okay, so my advice is they should take their vehicle for regular diagnosis. Now that we've spoken about it, because we wanted individuals to know the importance of the vehicle diagnosis, they should take their vehicle for the vehicle diagnosis, and they shouldn't wait till they encounter one or two problems on their vehicle before they want to check their vehicle out. They should also make sure they should make sure they do it. And if they notice the slightest sounds or noise or inconveniences on their vehicle, they should make sure they take their vehicle to their technician to check. My advice is, when you're communicating to your technician, please and please and please communicate the right information. The customer will not blame, although technicians can be like, you shouldn't have done this, you should have not done this. They will definitely say that, but they are looking at your best interest. So please try to communicate the right information to your technician, because it will help them solve their problem. It will also help you solve the problem and save you from costs in the future, more costs in the future. Because if you do not communicate the right information and you're communicating it later, it's going to be another cost on you. Although sometimes some of them blame the technician, but the information was not communicated properly from the customer. So always communicate the right information to your technicians.
And finally, our address before we take our leave.
Yes, our address is plot 192 Agege Motor Road off Ilupeju Bypass, and our phone number to call are 080 80806686, 080 38292296.
All right, and we want to say a very big thanks for everyone and to everyone who has been a part of this segment. Thank you very much. My name is Rereloluwa Abiodun. Karimot, thank you very much. And of course, to Oyewole, Deborah, and Ojo Milan, who worked with me, thank you as well. My name again is Rereloluwa Abiodun. Please have a wonderful day and happy Easter.